for me, I couldn't do it alone. Like, I needed him throughout the whole process, emotionally and at some point physically. In my mind, I had prepared myself to the best of my ability by reading and watching documentaries and taking childbirth classes. But he's very like, I need to get the education from a licensed practitioner or whatever. He needs to go to a class, or watching a documentary, reading a book is not really enough. He needs to go and speak to somebody. So that's why I wanted to go to the childbirth classes, because I needed him to be 100% there, because it took two. It took two to make him. It's gonna take two to bring him into the world. So I really needed him to be in the classes with me, because everything that we discussed in the classes I had already read, but it was nice to experience it with him, because it was all like, oh, I can ask this question that I didn't really ask before, or, you know, I was able to really take advantage of someone who knew about childbirth and lactation and all that fun stuff, to be able to impart that into us as a couple.
I think the biggest thing for me was knowing the stages of labor, like knowing, okay, once it starts. Had I not gone to the Lamaze class, I would have called the midwife the moment she had consistent contractions, and she would have been here for 2 days. But once I understood that early labor is like the longest part of labor, like 75% of the time, and then, you know, it really gets into it, that helped a lot. And then knowing the different things that are happening to her body and why certain massages feel good because of what nerves are being pulled on, what muscles are being pulled on, how the whole thing works inside a woman's body. I knew there were a lot of intricacies, but I didn't know to that extent, as it relates to a baby coming out and the skull kind of collapsing to make sure it can come through and all that stuff. So yeah, learning all that was helpful.